Notify us. There you go.
Here we
Okay.
are. Sorry about that, everyone.
No worries.
Thank you. Thank you.
No
I'm
problem.
turning into a techie.
Don't you are. Watch out.
Great. All right, well then I'm gonna share my screen again. Let's see. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Great. All right, well, Amanda Elliott, and I'm Senior Program Officer with Main Street America, and I'm Director of California Programs. And just a little bit about our program and our background. The California Main Street program works with communities across the state to foster economic development and enhance the overall quality of life. We provide training and network opportunities and other resources to municipalities, community organizations that are focused on revitalizing their older or historic commercial districts. California Main Street is from coast to coast network of organizations, and we work to bring vitality and prosperity to our downtowns across the country. So we're part of the Main Street America network. We have more than 2,000 main streets that are part of Main Street America. And we work in local cities and statewide levels. And what really unites us is our commitment to preserving and enhancing the built environment, celebrating local history and culture, and creating local economic opportunities. So Main Street America is a program of the National Main Street Center, and we are a subsidiary of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. And so the way that our program really operates is we have our local programs, and that's what San Juan Bautista would become, a local Main Street program. And then that our next level is our coordinating program, and that is our California State program. And then our Main Street America program, which is our overarching program. And it's really what we say locally powered through community-driven revitalization. So really involving the community in that work of revitalization. And it's really supported by a collaborative model that provides technical assistance and resources to connect your network. We have ongoing meetings that we do with our Main Street members, and you would be able to participate in that. In fact, Darlene has been participating in our monthly meetings already. And so with our California program, we are a 501c3, and it was put to build better capacity for our program. We became a 501c3, and in 2018, the National Main Street Center partnered with with California Main Street to administer the program. Prior to that, the program had been administered by executive directors and other Main Street members, but it was challenging, and there was, some capacity issues in terms of really supporting the program and growing the program. Currently, we have almost 30 members who are part of our network in California, from Arcata all the way down to San Diego. And so the Main Street approach is really our 4-point approach. And many of you may have seen this before, but we work in the 4 points of economic vitality and building a diverse and economic base for our main streets and our communities and our commercial districts. And then design, creating an inviting, inclusive atmosphere that celebrates the history and the character of this place. And then organization, building leadership for our Main Street leaders, as well as working with other entities to carry out the work. It's a broad community engagement that we do. And then promotion, marketing the district's defining assets and really communicating what is unique about your place and really celebrating that history. And what we did in 2016 is that we had what we called a refresh, and really looking at transformation strategies. And through those strategies, really figuring out what is unique about your community and your downtown or your commercial district, and how do we strengthen your downtown through those assets. So really working through these 4 points of economic vitality, design and promotion, and organization, we create what we call our transformation strategies based on what your community and what you all feel are the assets that are unique to your community. So California Main Street from '86 to 2002 was administered by California Technology Trade and Commerce Agency and supported by state general funds. In 2002, California Main Street was formed in an effort to reestablish the program as a 501c3, and we were then called California Main Street Alliance. And then in 2004, through the work of CAMSA, the California Preservation Foundation, and Californians for Preservation Action, the Main Street program was reestablished in the Office of Historic Preservation. However, the state funding for the program has not been renewed, and California programs have collectively secured over $8 billion in public and private investment. So we are currently working on a budget request for the state of about $800,000 to support our California Main Street program, to provide capacity building and technical assistance to each of our main streets, and to support the businesses that are in those main streets. So in terms of reinvestment and impact, since 1980, over 2,000 programs have used the Main Street approach and our time-tested framework for community-driven comprehensive revitalization. In 2021, Main Street America programs generated about $5.76 billion in local reinvestment and helped open more than 6,000 new businesses, facilitated the creation of 30,000 new jobs, and catalyzed the rehabilitation of more than 10,000 historic buildings, leveraging more than 2,729 volunteer hours, I can say it. And so that is really one of the pillars and foundations of the work, are the volunteers that really work in our programs to support all of the revitalization efforts that are going forward. And then in California specifically, statewide, countywide, and citywide coordinating programs evaluate, select, and we recommend the communities to be a part of our Main Street. And you can see in 2021, we net 250 new businesses that were opened through our California Main Street programs, 1,408 new jobs created, and 543 million in public and private investment in our main streets, and over and 148 buildings that were rehabbed, 1.4 million volunteer hours. And so the way that we get these statistics is each of our main streets does a report annually to tell us all of these things in terms of any developments and any private or public funding that has come in through the district, and then working with generally their economic development group in the city, which you guys are already there. You can help with these statistics to let us know how you're doing, where are the challenges, and what are the celebrations that you can talk about in terms of investment and other things that are happening in your community. So our vision statement for California Main Street is that we are a convener of technical support to connect California commercial districts and professionals to resources and services, promoting communities to become destinations for local and visitor economies, building a California network to advocate for state tourism, economic development, and investment in commercial district revitalization and development. And really our goals for California Main Street is to provide technical assistance and funding for our local programs, small business incentives, training and technical assistance and resources, state funding for California programs, which we're really working on right now, state staff support, coordinated advocacy for California Main Streets. You will sometimes see letters that will come through that'll be sign-on letters for specific things in terms of sometimes tax credits and other things. Solid partnerships and agencies focused on preservation, economic development, and placemaking, diversity of programs in urban, rural, and suburban neighborhoods, facade improvements, streetscape, and other infrastructure improvements. And what you get with your membership is complimentary registration for conferences, workshops, and webinars, discount on in-person technical services from experts in the field, one-on-one helpline support, access to grants and special programs, monthly virtual check-ins, opportunity to use Main Street America branding, unlimited Main Street Institute online courses for one participant, and registration for all of your staff for 3 annual webinars. We also have a quarterly newsletter. We have grant programs and then social networks. We also have an annual conference, and your membership will provide you 1 free registration for the National Main Street Conference. The California Main Street Conference, our annual conference next year, will be in Oceanside, February 22nd through the 23rd. And then the National Main Street Conference will be in Boston, and that will be March 27th through the 29th. So lots of opportunity to learn and have access to information that will support economic development, placemaking, and other needs that you have to revitalize your commercial district. So California Main Street programs really continue to be relevant. We lead major infrastructure projects, develop vacant spaces, and create assessment districts to leverage funds to bring stability to commercial districts in downtown that have struggled. And our average program, the budget is about $375,000. And we have a range of programs. Some are 501c3s, 501c6, and some of C4. Some are business improvement districts, some are property-based business improvement districts, and some are city-sponsored economic development, which yours would be. My program in Richmond was initially was supported by the city through redevelopment, which of course was eliminated. And then we worked to implement a property-based business improvement district. And I can say that that district has been renewed twice and currently is going through 2027 as a property-based business improvement district. And so this is a project that I worked on when I was in Richmond. It took about 3 years to get this project done. There was a commercial space that was at the bottom of the parking garage for BART at Bay Area Rapid Transit, and it stayed empty for about almost 7 years. And then working with the city and a developer and with BART, we were able to get that 10,000 square foot space filled with a co-working space and a business hub and a deli and a coffee shop. Unfortunately, the coffee shop didn't make it through the pandemic, but the co-working space is really thriving and doing very well. Here's another project in Bellflower, and it's a Steelcraft Bellflower, a downtown meeting place and food court made up of repurposed shipping containers. And it represents about $4 million in private investment and created 9 new businesses that are employing around 60 people. And we really work to promote inclusive entrepreneurship and support that intentionally to bring more diverse set of innovators and business owners to the table. And what we know is that it breaks down barriers for economic growth to build more vibrant commercial districts by attracting a broader community. And Oceanside is another of our premier districts in Main Street. And again, we will have our annual conference there next year, February 22nd through the 23rd. Fremont is another of our districts. Again, Richmond. And in East Oakland, the Black Cultural Zone, they are a new member, and we are working to get more of our urban communities to be a part of our main streets. We have a good number of suburban and rural Main Street programs throughout the network, throughout Main Street America, and certainly in California as well. But we are working to get more of our urban districts involved. Livermore is another of our Great American Main Street Award winners. So this is another very thriving downtown district. And so that's a general overview of the work. And I'm certainly, if you have questions, we have a board that is listed here that are part of our main streets and other entities that support our main streets or revitalization and economic development. Those are folks that work with us. Gamaro Escarseca is in Oceanside, and Marnie Marshall in Grass Valley. And you can see Eureka, Hanford, and Civitas. That is another group. Carson Lambeth, she helps to establish bids and P-bids. And then Bianca Blomquist from the Small Business Majority, and another new member that we have that works on marketing, and that's Todd Anderson. So that is the general overview of our work. And certainly if you have questions, I am here to answer any questions you might have.
I have a question. I'm trying to figure out the membership that we have. I think we the basic membership of 1,060
1675.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That does that encompass the transformation strategies? Yeah. That
So,
you.
Yes, we would be able to work with you to develop those transformation strategies. There is a general, we can give a general overview and understanding of what that work is. If you were wanting to go through the entire process, then that would be an additional fee for some of our experts to come out and walk you through that process. And so that would be some of the work that I would do as well.
So would someone come to the community to give that information, start that information going?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good.
There's a whole process that you have to go through in terms of community engagement, some data analysis, some mapping, and it's a pretty involved process to go through the entire.
Okay, good. And that's part of our membership.
The general information about it and a general overview of it, yes, we can provide that for you. If you want the entire process, that is an additional fee.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What level?
What is that fee? What is that fee?
It depends on, so there, I could give you a proposal of what it would entail. If you want the entire community engagement and then the data, and then, yeah, so there are different levels of it. And so it depends on how much of it you want. So, but it can go, it could be anywhere from, 10,000, maybe a little less.
Okay. So for example, if we wanted the assistance of some of your team, but not others, so the cost would differ. For example, the consultant that's available to help establish the business improvement district, that would be a discrete cost. And that would be either available to the city or not, depending on if we felt that was necessary.
Yes.
That kind of thing, right? So,
yes.
Okay.
So what I'm getting is probably our membership level is more information, more showing up at webinars and conferences and that type of thing. It's not hands-on. We don't have someone showing up and giving
Leading
us.
right.
There would be some initial engagement that we could do. Again, the surface level general overview would be something I could come to the community and we could do what we call an assessment. So that is something that would be included, but the actual work of doing a full strategic plan and strategy, that's an additional charge. Yes.
That makes sense. That makes sense. You know, I
Yeah.
keep reading through your application and I see district, you know, a district
Mhm.
referred to. Is that a whole nother level of
No,
investment, or what is that?
no,
What
we
does that
say
mean?
it's kind of interchangeable in terms of district, downtown, neighborhood, commercial area. So that would be whatever defined area that you have, that would be what you're calling your main street. That's what that refers to.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
and-
so
and-
we
yeah,
wouldn't
and-
have to join to be a Main Street district to be on your website or anything like that.
No, once you join as a California Main Street member,
Mhm.
then you would be listed and all of those things. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for the application, I'm just simply referencing, you know, our commercial area all the way from Highway 156 to generally Muckalunny
Mhm.
and then all the areas between 4th and 2nd. So it's that commercial area that we have, and I don't know, maybe we need to go further, you know, across 156, but not.
Yeah, that would be for you
Probably.
guys to determine what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I haven't.
Okay.
That's not. Yeah. So.
Okay,
Well,
good. I
Amanda,
thought there was an extra fee to be listed, so this is good.
Well, we do have 3 historic districts, and I was pretty happy to see the relationship that California Main Street has with the Preservation Foundation and the State Office of Historic Preservation. And I hope that the budget initiative that you're seeking through the governor's office actually happens. That will be very
Yes.
good. And I think important. I think one thing that maybe Teresa is looking for is we have information from your website, and then we also have maybe some additional information that might come in a future meeting that would be sort of list all the you know, sort of the enhanced program that California Main Street might offer. Once we get up and running, we understand what that information is, and then, you know, we can see what the full suite of, you know, resources might be. Is that the way
Yeah,
it's typically
we offer
done?
board trainings and volunteer trainings, some specific information about developing entrepreneurial ecosystems and you know, working with the community around community engagement. So those types of things be
Mhm.
available.
I see Kim has her hand up.
yeah, so
Oh.
what level did Oceanside do?
Oh, they are an accredited Main Street currently.
So
We
they
are.
went all in.
Oh yeah, they've been a Main Street for more than 25 years, I think. So
Okay.
they're, yeah.
And you talked at one point in one of your slides about qualifying. And then when it went to membership, it kind of confused me. So what do you mean by qualifying?
So that's part of the application process. So that would be going through that application process. Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, if I
I
put
came in on
NA,
that when you were talking about that at the beginning, maybe that it's a pretty substantial application.
Somewhat. We want to have as much information as we can about your community, your neighborhood, your districts, and what type of work is being done currently, what are the needs, and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm doing it a little bit at a time, and I'm trying not to put NA in a lot.
Yeah, I
of
mean,
the-
there are some things that will not necessarily, you know, apply to your particular community. So we understand that.
Are you?
I on the website, they have some small business resources. So in order for us to tap in, because we know that we're going to be utilizing this from the city standpoint, but the EDAC, one of the committees from our EDAC group is going to be the main Darlene and her group are the ones to kind of help facilitate that. What kind of access do we have with our membership level to those resources?
So again, we have our monthly check-in with our other Main Street communities. There's a lot of information that's shared through that. We also have a network, online network, which is the Point, it's called. And there's a lot of information that is shared throughout the nation, through all of the main streets that you would have access to. Also, we have a member area on our website that has a number of, subject areas specifically around small business, around infrastructure projects, around basically anything economic development specifically that you would be needing or might be of interest for your community. So you would have access to all of those things. Additionally, you would have a free registration to our Main Street America conference, which I would highly recommend that someone attend. And if you want to go back and look at, some of the information that the sessions that we covered in our Main Street programs and our conferences, you can see the breadth of information that's shared there. And then again, our California Main Street conference as well. So.
I'd like to ask you a question and tell me if it's okay if you don't really have an answer if you're not familiar, but are you familiar with Retail Strategies, a consulting firm?
Yeah, well, that's not my specialty, but we have people on our team at California, at National Main Street that are familiar and do work and provide that kind of service.
Okay, so it's sort of similar in nature to the service provided by Retail Strategies, or is it in collaboration with Retail Strategies?
No, it'd be similar. We have our own.
Similar. Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, very good. And
So
I see
we
Stephanie.
can find out the cost of that, Brian?
Yes, we can. And that's why I think it's important to get an idea of the full suite of resources available and the costs involved.
Yeah.
And so we'll be working with Amanda to bring that information to the group.
Sure.
I mean, our membership gets us access to information, and that's the kind of information that we'd be looking for.
Yeah, and there are a number of webinars that are available, that would be available to you as a member as well, that are up on the website that you guys, some around retail. I mean, it's just really a broad range of information that's there.
Great. Stephanie?
I'm sorry?
Stephanie, you have your hand up?
Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
Hi. Couple of things. One, you mentioned you're a subsidiary of the National Trust.
That's correct.
So we have an interesting situation here. We have a mission. It's the largest in California. Then we have a state park with a lot of historic buildings. And then, of course, we have our historic downtown. Do you ever get involved with facilitating, maybe changing a use on a state park from, let's say, where you lease it to somebody for a restaurant or anything like that?
We wouldn't be involved in that, but we could certainly connect you with folks who do that work specifically.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Teresa? Unmute.
Okay, quick question. The complimentary conferences, workshops, that whole thing, would anybody on this committee be able to go into those conferences and workshops and webinars? Okay,
Yes.
good. So that's open to the whole group.
Yes, it would be.
So how does that access work? Is there a
You would get a
access
code.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Okay. And then whoever has that code can access the information.
Right, that's
Great.
correct.
Okay, good. So our city council, historic resources board, planning commission, all our standing committees and boards can use that.
Yes.
Great.
And is there going to be an onboarding process so we know how to properly use it? It's a lot of information. I'm looking through your website now, and it's like, where do we go? Where's the first steps? How we make this so it's actionable intel that we have that we can
Mm-hmm.
use to our benefit, or it's just another book of
Right.
resources that we can't really implement or process.
Yeah, I definitely could walk you through, the website and connect you with our membership directly, and they can give you the overview of how to access certain things and what the need is. So we do have that.
So I think it's going to be important for our group, and Brian, definitely for the city and those other organizations, for us to figure out what it is that we want.
Mhm.
So that we come to Amanda's group, we will be directed into the right areas so that we can best utilize the services that they're providing, or the information that they're providing.
So I'd like to ask Renee, you're familiar with California Main Street. And can you talk a little bit about your, sort of how you connect, if you do?
I do not. It's my first time hearing about them.
All right.
I mean, I have heard about them, but this is my first time getting the presentation. So I'm really interested. It sounds like you've worked with the city of Hollister before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's a Main Street in Hollister.
Okay. And how long ago was it that you started that?
They have been a Main Street for a very long time. I know since when I was an executive director, so it's probably more than 10 years that they've been a part of Main Street.
Okay. That's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
Great to learn more about that. I'm fairly new to the EDC of San Benito County and Hollister. I work for the San Benito County
Mhm.
and City of Hollister, and only about a year. So it's new to me, but I have heard the organization. So
Mhm.
that's not new to me. It's just the whole concept is great.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a grassroots collaborative network of folks that are working on, supporting and revitalizing our historic districts and our commercial districts in our cities, our towns, some rural, some suburban, some urban. So, and each of them has their own set of specific needs. And we work to help them to develop whatever the needs, or really focus in on really their assets and build on those.
And you work in conjunction with like the Chamber of Commerce or a downtown association. You bring everyone together and find out what their goals and are for the program. So
Yes.
that's great.
Yeah, so we'd be looking for a pretty strong connection through California Main Street to Renee is working on a comprehensive economic development strategy for the county. And so it's pretty timely, I think,
I think so too.
for our involvement. So that's going to be important to understand how that works.
I agree.
Another quick question for you, and that I noticed you have an advocacy toolkit. Have access to that and to facilitate that toolkit with our membership level, since we're all talking about membership level.
Right. Yeah. So we have a government relations person that is really involved in the advocacy efforts and could certainly walk you through that toolkit.
Yeah, because it seems really intense, and but it also looks very impactful.
Yeah.
If we're able to get it onboarded properly and unveil it within our community, I think it could have a meaningful impact. But we're new at this.
Yeah.
We need hand holding.
So
that's okay.
So Amanda, when cities join California Main Street, do you find over the course of time that California Main Street, the Main Street organization, National Main Street, becomes the sort of the principal resource and organization that supports revitalization, growth, and development within downtown areas?
Yeah,
Find that
that's really,
evolution.
that is generally how it works. Yes.
Mhm. Okay. So you're not just a sideshow. You're the main tent.
It's true. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
All right. Good. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions for Amanda?
I just wanted to say thanks, Amanda, for taking the time to give us this information because it's new to us. I've heard about Main Street, but the information you gave us tonight was perfect. You
Great.
know,
I'm
it
glad that
makes
that
us feel good about
helpful.
moving forward with it.
Good.
Very good.
Well, I know it's a lot. It certainly is a lot to take in, and so we can move at whatever pace you need in terms of helping you to understand it all. Because I know Patricia was like, this is a lot of stuff, you know, but yeah, I think this is a good first step, and we're here to support.
Very good.
We're gonna call you. So you're gonna say, I'm gonna point direct you to the right direction.
I would expect it.
Well,
Right,
thank
very
you.
good.
So it's been a wealth of knowledge. And we have to do our due diligence to do the proper connections and get the proper people in the places to access the information and utilize it, or else it's all for naught. So we definitely want to do that.
Great.
Okay, Brian, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. I think that Amanda, we really, you know, I think everybody really appreciates, you know, your time and your information, your skill set. Very good. Very nice. And I'll be in touch with an application very soon.
Okay.
And then we'll get started.
Very good. Well, it's nice to meet all of you, and have a good rest of the evening.
All right.
Thank you very much, Amanda.
Before we conclude, it would be good for our group to kind of go peruse through the website, and so we can see what's available. So when we come back again, we can discuss, you know, areas of importance to us and see how to best utilize it.
Yes.
Yeah. After I submit the application and we get approval by California Main Street for that membership, then we'll be able to present information to the committee about you know, all the resources that are available. So that's the point at which we'll be able to move forward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It makes sense, but I'm just looking at the different blogs, like Revitalizing Small Business Act. This is information that can be utilized right now. We don't have to wait for the application to be submitted, so we can get our wheels turning in our head to see how do we best position ourselves to access the information without waiting. You know, it might spark something for us to get something done.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Excellent. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Another great meeting.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
All
Bye-bye.
Good night.